Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Siebens Fieldhouse here on the campus of Buena Vista College in Storm Lake, Iowa. Tonight, Innovation Video is proud to bring you Iowa Conference Wrestling. Tonight's matchup features the hometown Buena Vista Beavers playing host to the Simpson Storm. Hi again, my name is Brad Haugen, and with me, riding shotgun in the old commentator's table tonight is Chad Kudum. Chad, coming into this meet, we knew it was going to be a barn burner. The Iowa Conference, always tough, but a few surprises came to us here just before the meet began.
Certainly, Brad. Shortly before the meet began, Coach Baxter found out that Simpson would be forfeiting the upper weights, heavyweight, and 190. Big surprise coming into the meet tonight.
Really, and as we said, as we were talking before the meet, we looked at it on paper. Simpson may be favored, in probably 4 out of the 10 weight classes, one of them being 190, so this obviously going to be a big hole for them to fill. But don't think that this is not going to be a good meet. We got a lot of exciting individual matchups that we're going to be talking to you in a few minutes. We're going to take a quick 2-minute commercial break. We'll be back with BV versus Simpson here on Innovation Video.
Janine woke up in a cold sweat with one thing echoing through her brain. Who was this guy in her bathroom?
Meanwhile, Barry was thinking, whose bathroom am I in?
Janine remembered going to the party the night before and getting smashed out of her mind.
Barry remembered getting drunk and acting really stupid.
Eventually.
The whole evening came back.
Oh, I must be really stupid.
I must be really dumb.
What did I do? How did I get myself into this?
Well, what did I do? How did I get myself into this?
What about AIDS? Then they both realized, much to their relief, that unlike the rest of us,
They were just cartoons.
get high,
Get stupid.
get AIDS.
In a recent worldwide educational test, the United States didn't rank first
Korea,
or second
Taiwan,
or even third.
Switzerland,
It seems while the rest of the world raised their educational standards,
Scotland, Slovenia,
we didn't.
Spain,
So we came in 14th,
the United States.
and 14th is no place for our kids to be. Call 1-800-96-PROMISE, and we'll give you lots of ways to help our kids move forward again.
Miranda, what you doing today?
Cleaning my mice.
What you doing?
Putting those glasses.
If you don't stop your friend from driving drunk, who will?
Now what you doing?
Do whatever it takes.
Back to Siebens Fieldhouse, everybody. Like we said, tonight's matchup featuring the Buena Vista Beavers taking on the Simpson Storm. Again, my name is Brad Haugen. With me is Chad Kudum. And Chad, we talked earlier about the whole team aspect and the 2 forfeit stuff, but there's really kind of an interesting sub-story to this whole meet tonight. It involves the 2 coaches. Would you like to add a little bit more to that?
It certainly is, Brad. As you know, Coach Baxter has been here a number of years, but the interesting fact is that Coach Bob Dara of Simpson was Coach Baxter's high school wrestling coach.
Back in the days when they wrestled in nothing but a sheepskin on the old stone ground, I believe it was. And an interesting note to that is Baxter was actually Coach Bob Dara's first high school state champion.
I guess you could say Coach Baxter was his first brick in the great wall that Dara has built. Coach Dara is is Iowa's most winning high school coach.
Over 300 wins to his credit, going between Des Moines, Dowling, Urbandale, and Morning Sun, where he did coach our own Al Baxter. Baxter was telling us, we talked to him earlier in the week, really, they're they're competitors tonight, but they're really good friends. He also said that Dara, one of the biggest influences in his life, actually probably the main person that got him involved in wrestling and got him to go to college someday. So really kind of an interesting story. But let's look at the 2 teams now. We got our own hometown Beavers, and they're facing a slightly undermanned, I guess we could say, Simpson squad tonight. But really looking at it up and down the line, really some interesting individual matches we can talk about. First, well, we're going to we'll talk about that in a few minutes, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to go and take the national anthem right now from the PA announcer. We'll be back in a couple minutes.
So proudly we hailed
College as we face an IAC conference duel against number 13th, Buena Vista College with a record of 8-3 versus number 19th, the Simpson Storm with a record of 7-4. At 118 pounds for Simpson College, a junior from Sioux City, Iowa, Shane Falties, faces Brian Beck, a sophomore from Fort Madison. At 126 pounds for the Simpson Storm, a freshman from Stewart, Iowa, Mike Fry, faces 126-pound from junior from Perry, Iowa, Chad Tunick. At 134 pounds for the Simpson Storm, a freshman from Liberty, Missouri, John Hatfield, faces 134-pound freshman from Sumner, Jeff Meyer. At 142 pounds for the Simpson Storm, a freshman from Fort Madison, Todd Johnston, faces Tony Doherty, a senior from Norwalk, at 142 pounds. At 150 pounds for the Simpson Storm, a senior from Norwalk, Iowa, Shannon McLaughlin, faces a senior from Aurora, Nebraska, Chad Guggenmass. At 158 pounds for the Simpson Storm, a junior from Eagle Grove, Dan Slater, faces a junior from George, Iowa, Tim Jagger. At 167 pounds for the Simpson Storm, a senior from Webster City, Brian Ott, faces a senior from Ottumwa, Iowa, Jason Black. At 177 for the Simpson Storm, a senior from Norwalk, Chad Tim, faces 177-pounder, sophomore from George, Iowa, Matt Kruger. At 190 pounds, Simpson 4-foots to 190 freshman from Woodbine, Clint Dunlop. Heavyweights for Simpson Storm, 4-foots to a heavyweight from junior Sheldon, Iowa, Jay Huff. The Buena Vista Beavers is coached by Al Baxter, and the Simpson Storm is coached by Bob Dara.
Possibly get up there on that victory stand looking for All-American status. So, but we're getting ready to go here now. The Beavers taking on the Simpson Storm. Our first match of the evening features Shane Falties, the junior from Sioux City, Iowa, facing BV's own Brian Beck. Beck, a sophomore from Fort Madison, 7-8, right now. 7-8, I believe, overall record so far this year. He's been battling. You see the big old knee brace he's got on there. Also been fighting off a few bouts with the flu, trying to cut down to 118. But this could be a big match for Beck if he can pull it off against very tough Shane Falties. So, as the referees break, we'll get things underway here in BV versus Simpson.
You see, Brian Beck is really strong on his feet, and that's what I think he's got to do to win this match. He's got to work hard from his feet, and when he's down on the mat, he's got to get up and get out of there. He's got to push. He's got to push this gentleman here, keep him going, wear him down, and get after it.
Right. Beck spent a lot of time in his high school career wrestling over the summer and in the offseason in the freestyle tournaments, and that's, you talk to any of the big coaches that know good wrestlers, they're going to tell you that the kids that put the extra matches in are the kids that are going to do a good job. And Beck's one of those guys that BV's looking for. Maybe not. He's not really one of their favorites, maybe, to qualify for that national tournament. But when Brian Beck is hot, there's not too many people who can stop him.
No, Brian he's a really hard worker. He loves to wrestle. That's the most important thing. He loves to be out on the mat. He loves to go into practice every day. He loves to make you work harder try to make you work harder than him. You can't beat that practice ethic. I mean, nobody loves to practice, but Brian Beck sure doesn't hesitate to go in there and work out.
Has a lot of fun doing it. That's what counts. Really an up and down wrestler so far for the Beavers this year. As you see, Falties going in with a front headlock there. Nothing comes out, and both wrestlers go out of bounds. But as I was saying, Beck, one of the things we can say about him, he seems a lot of times to wrestle up or down to his competition. A perfect example of that was this weekend at the Cornell Invitational.
There you see Brian had an excellent heel pick. Was working the head, dropped down. Falties got a little out of position, left his foot up there, ankle pick. Excellent takedown.
So 2 points for Brian Beck puts him up 2-0 now over Shane Falties.
Now what you see Brian wanting to do here, he wants to keep his hips tight, break Falties down, and turn him, trying to get some back points. Right now, as you know, Brian has got the takedown. He's receiving riding time. If he receives a minute advantage in riding time, that's 1 point and the match is over.
Scramble situation there. Falties looks like he gets out of Beck's tilt attempt there and gets the 2-point reversal. also gets the 2 back points. So that's going to goes from 2-0 down, now up 4-2 here with about minute 17 left in the first period.
Brian just got a little bit out of position there. As it's the first period, Brian's got time. If he works hard, which he does, he'll be fine.
Bet.
See, Faulty's trying to work the bent leg Turk. Very painful. Brian's staying in good position.
Little loss of the headgear there by Beck. Referee's going to stop it. Going to start over from the Beck will start in the down position. Like I was saying before, wrestling up and down, the perfect example of that for Brian Beck would be at the Cornell Invitational over the weekend. In, I believe it was the second round of the tournament, Beck faced Brian Reese, the 118-pounder from Central, ranked 3rd in the nation so far this year. Took him into overtime before finally losing by a late takedown there in the overtime period. But then on the other side of that, comes back in the next round and loses to a kid who wrestled JV for Loris, a kid that Brian Beck is obviously much better than. He said it himself, he just didn't wrestle, he didn't have his head in it, and that's something he's going to have to work on here come down towards tournament time to get himself in there looking for that national qualification.
Yeah, I talked to Brian earlier this evening, and he was really looking forward to wrestling this match. He was focused, he really wants to get after Faulty's and take him down and beat him. This is one of those things we got to look at. Conference tournaments coming up in 30 days, Brad, and whether these guys win or lose the matches tonight depends on their seeding at that conference tournament.
You bet. Amazing to see how fast this wrestling season's gone by already so far. BV doing a pretty good job, like we talked to Baxter this week. He's pretty pleased with where his team sits right now. You know, they've had some tough matches, 4 losses so far, or 3 losses, excuse me, with all those top-ranked competition. There you see Beck getting out on a stand-up, trying to turn and face Faulty's. There he's up again, gets himself free. Faulty's hanging on to that leg.
What Brian's trying to do here is clear his hips, get away, get some distance between him and Faulty's right now. Faulty's working that knee brace coming up, covering the hips. Very good job by Faulty's, good position.
Faulty's looking pretty strong in the scramble situations out there. As him and Beck both facing each other, he seems to get to take control once again. That's how he got the reversal there earlier on. And with only 7 seconds left, looks like he might hold on to this 4-2 lead going into the second period.
Brian's got to do right now, Brad, is come firing out of there. He's got to move underneath. He's got to keep himself going. And he's been moving really well so far. You
bet. That move there, not going to get it done. The clock will tick down, and that's going to end the first period. So 4-2 in favor of Faulty so far here in our opening match of BV versus Simpson. Faulty's takes the down position here, and it looks like Beck's going to have to get his knee brace worked on there.
If I know Brian Beck, he'd probably rather take it off than get it put back on, Brad. He's the type of guy that when it's wrestling time, pain is not an object.
That's right. Doesn't want anything standing in his way, nothing slowing him down. I'm sure they had to kind of fight with him to get him to put that knee brace on, but they did talk him into it all. Trainers looking for the wrestler's safety out there. They're going to get it retaped there quick. You see Celeste Weave and Trisha Vista down there working on him with Coach Al Baxter looking over their shoulder, make sure everything's going right.
That's one thing, Brad. Buena Vista has an excellent athletic training program right now. All the athletic trainers take great care of all the athletes, and as you see, they get Brian back out on the mat and ready to go.
Back and ready for action. As Faulty's goes down, looks like Beck's going to let him go here right away to start out the second period. Gives up the extra escape point right there. 5-2 is the lead now for Faulty's, and Beck's going to try to work things on his feet.
Right here, what you see Brian trying to do is work the head, get Faulty's out of position so he can take that shot. Here we go back to the center.
That's where we got to keep the action going. Referee doesn't like it out there on the edge. Everybody's going out of bounds, so Beck's going to try to control things now. Grabbing on the head, Faulty's a long outside shot. Really not much going there.
What Brian's got to do here is get his hips away, clear himself, and get it back. Faulty's in good position now, but he's got to come up. And if Brian keeps down there, we could see a stalemate.
And that's exactly what we have, Chad. We're going to start things right back over in the middle. Beck's going to have to get his offense going. He's doing a lot of tying up and looking for position, but he's going to have to get in there on the legs, like we saw right there. Long attempt there, no good, but and Faulty's right back in there. So both these wrestlers going at it hard here, halfway through the second period.
What Brian's got to do is what he did the first period, Brad. He's got to move side to side, get some motion going, get Faulty's out of position, then go for the shot.
Exactly.
Right now, it seems as though he's kind of hanging on Faulty's, trying to work the head. I think he'd be better off going back to where he was earlier.
Right, exactly. Giving up the legs pretty easy is Brian. He's going to have to do a better job of fighting off that initial shot by Faulty's, because Faulty's in there at time. Hasn't really been able to do much with it, but with a 5-2 lead, he's really killing some time out there and keeping himself in decent position. It's like we'll take a break. It looks like a little blood or something on the mat. Referee doesn't see no harm in it. We're going to get things started one more time. 51 seconds left here in the second period. Faulty's leading Brian Beck from BV 5-2.
Faulty's working on rush and tie there, Brad, trying to get a 2-on-1, get something going to set up a move. Brian getting in there, blocking with his head, trying to get out, trying to move him, get in his position where he wants to be.
There's a nice shuck attempt there by Beck in on the ankles, but referee calls him out of bounds. Faulty's stepping out onto the hardwood. They're not gonna let him hit that too hard. Don't want to get anybody injured out here, but a nice job by Beck getting in deep on the legs. Something, if he can do that in the middle of the mat, that's going to be some points for him.
That's right. He's working the rush and tie, had a little explosion, a little shuck by, throw by with the arm. Right there was the ankle. That's the type of thing he's doing. He's moving him, getting out of position, getting him out of position.
There, Faulty locks the front headlock in on Beck as he attempted the single leg. As the clock ticked down under 10 seconds, Beck's going to have to try a last-second shot here to get some points on the board in the second period. Of course, he gave the escape to Faulty's at the beginning. Now he's going to see if he can make us realize that that was the right choice here in the period. Now we're going to have another stop. Looks like Faulty's is bleeding again.
Another factor we got to look at here, Brad, is riding time. What the riding time is, I don't know who has, if Faulty's has an advantage. If he does, it's only a slight advantage.
Must be pretty, yeah. Looking ahead now, going into the third period, it will be Beck's choice as he deferred in the second. Brian probably going to be choosing down maybe, see if he can get out of there, get that extra point there, and then get back to working on his feet. That could tie things up. So we'll see what happens. 3 seconds left in the period. I don't think we're going to get too much out of this one, and that's where the buzzer sounds. So
you might see Brian taking neutral here, Brad.
You are exactly right, Chad. As you get a look at the crowd here in Siebens Fieldhouse this evening, looking for a tough Iowa Conference matchup here. Beck will take both up. He's got 2 minutes to make up a 3-point deficit here in the final period at 118.
You know, Brian, it's no problem with him taking neutral, Brad. Brian feels really comfortable on his feet, and if that's where he feels comfortable, where he thinks he feels he can take Faulty's down, and there's nothing wrong with that.
And that's what he's got to do. So what you got to do, take a little time here to tie the shoes and get things going again. Gonna have to hurry though. We got to say 3 points down. He's got to get at least 2 takedowns here, or maybe possibly some back points. There he's in deep on the double leg, right between the legs, looking to come up there. Faulty's looking at a little Gumby position right there, just trying to lock on, probably hold on for the stalemate. We'll see if Beck can turn this into points for BV.
What Brian's got to do now is he's got to come up just like he is, step up and come through, turn and face. It looks like Faulty's got a little bit of an illegal hold there.
A little scissor on the head there, and that's going to get him a point.
That's what Brian needed right there, Brad. Got in on takedown, gets him to come in.
There it comes right back again. Brian Beck tough on that single leg, and he gets the 2 takedown.
Nice finish by Brian Beck. Got in low on low single, come up, got his hips, and let him go.
Now he lets him go again with the 1-point penalty point. That Beck's only down by 1 now. One more takedown can take the lead. He's got about 1:04 left in the match.
Brian's feeling real confident right now. He's fired up. He's moving McLaughlin. He feels he can take him down, Brad.
You bet. You can almost see it in his eyes as he walks back to the center there. He's on the attack now. There he is deep again. He's dominating on his feet right now. If he can get this into a takedown, he's going to take the lead. But Faulty's a nice job. Excellent job of getting his hips down and fighting off a very strong shot there by Brian Beck.
That's right, Brad. Brian had a good shot, was in deep. Faulty's got his hips away, and got out.
Nice,
right now,
back in a little bit of trouble.
Faulty's looking to get both ankles there, Brad. If he'd have gotten both ankles, that would have been a takedown too. Right now, his stalemate, we're both up in neutral position.
Beck looking to get out of bounds there. Faulty's did a nice job hanging on the ankle. Looked like it could have been a tough situation with Beck, but the referee does call him out of bounds. We're going to start back over. 30 seconds left in this match, folks. Brian Beck down by 1, and now we're going to get a warning against Shane Faulty's. Faulty's really having a little bit of trouble here in the third period as we take a quick break here to tie another shoe. But like I say, and Brian Beck just came on like wildfire here in the third period, really taking it to Faulty's now, really dominating on his feet. Like we said, it could happen.
Oh, we got a problem with the clock here, Brad.
Both
There's
scoreboards
26 seconds to go in this third period.
Both scoreboards have shut down, ladies and gentlemen. We're not really sure what's happened. The referee's going to step over and take a look at that.
This is really a disadvantage for Brian Beck here, Brad. I feel that Brian felt confident, felt like he was in better shape than Faulty's, was willing to push him, was getting after him. Faulty's backing away as he was called for stalling. All Brian had to do, keep after him, keep pushing him. Either he's got to stay in the match and wrestle where Brian could get that low single, or he gets called for stalling and Brian's got another point.
There you see the dead scoreboard up there. Period number 8 we're in now, I guess. But another thing we should talk about is momentum. We talked about in all sports. That's a really big part of anything. And obviously Brian Beck with the momentum here in the third period. Now with 30 seconds left, they're going to go to a handheld clock on the sidelines. Beck's got to get in there and get a takedown. He's in there on his single leg, but Faulty's fighting it off pretty hard. One more stalling call against Faulty zone. That's going to tie this match up, so we'll see what happens. Beck's got to stay on the offensive, and we'll see what he can do. Both wrestlers a step out of bounds, and both are up.
That was really smart of Brian to get out of bounds and stop the clock, get a reshot, get a fresh start.
He's got to get in there. I'm not sure how much time is left. There's no time on the scoreboard. And that's the end of the match, ladies and gentlemen. Brian Beck loses to Shane Faulty. 6-5 is the final score. Scoreboard clock went off. Neither wrestler having really any idea of how much time was left. You can't fault Brian Beck for his effort, though, on that one. Really came on strong in the third period when it counted.
Yeah, there's a question there, Brad. What would have happened if the clock went out? If Brian would have been able to keep pushing Mr. Faulty's. It's very controversial, but we'll see. I'm sure Brian Beck's looking forward to conference meet where we'll get to wrestle him again.
Looking for another shot at it. So we're going to move on to 126 now. 3-0 is our team score. Simpson taking the lead on that Shane Faulty's victory over Brian Beck. Right now we're going to take a look at 126 for BV. Chad Tunick, the junior from Perry, Iowa, coming in here tonight with a 20-5 record. He'll be facing freshman Mike Frey from Stewart, Iowa. And they'll get things going here at 126 pounds.
Tunick, probably the hardest worker on the Beaver team. He's in probably the best shape of anybody on the wrestling team. As you'll notice, Chad will come out, wrestle the match, and shortly after the match, he'll be jumping rope, riding bike, whatever.
He's bet.
Always working out, always going hard.
Remember from last year, 365 days a year, he's working on his conditioning and strength. You saw him in the weight room a lot all summer and all preseason and stuff like that. He's got some big goals set for this year, and he's looking to achieve them. So see how things go. They're still discussing the clock controversy out here. Not really sure if they're going to get that up and running again. But talking about Tunick now, last year kind of in a tough situation. Started out the year at 118, had to make the move down. That may have cost him a national qualification. We're not sure, but
at the conference meeting last year, Chad Tunick was, as you know, we take 28, I believe, wrestlers to the national tournament, and Chad Tunick placed third and really pushed some of the top wrestlers in his weight bracket at that time, and was not voted in to go by the coaches. Coach Baxter felt that Chad deserved to go more than some of the other wrestlers that were there. That were chosen to go, but it's up to the discretion of the conference coaches.
Right, that's the tough thing about it. You know, like they say, 28 people can qualify from our conference with 10 weight classes. Obviously, the top 2 from each weight are going to go, but that does leave your 8 wild card spots and stuff like that. So we'll see how that goes. So looking at tonight's bout now with Tunick taking on Fry, you notice that Chad Tunick's another one of those Beavers that have been fighting off injuries as of late.
Certainly. Tunick's been fighting a floating rib in his chest. It's been moving around a little bit, having a lot of back pain. But as of last week, he got kicked in practice in the calf and has been having a lot of problems with swelling and a lot of locking up and cramping. He's been working out as much as he can, but hasn't been wrestling a whole lot this week, Brad. He's been riding bike, can't really run on it, getting massage, trying to get that swelling and get that blood out of there.
You bet, but you're not going to hear that from Tunick. He'll never complain about it. He just goes out there and wrestles as hard as he can. Really did a fine job over the weekend at the Cornell Invitational, like we were saying. Placed third overall, made it into the semifinals where he lost to Lance Edom of Central College here in Iowa, but then came back with a pretty impressive win in the semifinals of the consolation bracket. Then ended up placing third by beating Brian Davis of Loris 4-2 in overtime. So the injury really not playing a big part in Tunick's, like we said before, the what ifs and stuff like that. If he had been totally healthy, you never know about that. Chad's not going to argue with it. He's just looking towards the end of the season, going into the tournaments come March. And
Chad's a workhorse, and he's one of those wrestlers, exactly what you want. Hates to lose. If he gets beat, he comes back next time harder, works harder, faster, stronger, just keeps on going. If he gets defeated, it's just one more stepping stone. He decides that he's got to work that much harder. Super work ethic by Chad Tunick.
You bet. Now they're still working on the clocks here on the sidelines. We got quite a significant break in the action here. Let's take a look at like we were talking about overall, the BV team as a whole looking towards the future. Like we said, season already over half over here and now, and Baxter's really got to get his boys into the situation where they want to be come the end of the season. That's conference and national tournaments.
Yeah, Coach Baxter, when we talked to him earlier this week, said he's right where we want to be. Earlier in the year, the first tournament, the Wartburg Invitational, we were a little down. Coach came back, was a little upset at the performance of the team, but got over it. Said we always got to work hard, keep working, keep improving. That's what he wanted. That's what he got. Placed second at the Cornell Invite. Tough tournament, one of the toughest in Division III. Coach said earlier this week that anybody who places in the top 3 there, real good chance of being an All-American.
They're going to be sitting pretty good come down the end of the road, and BV had quite a few of those in the top 3. Baxter said overall one of the best team performances he's had so far in an individual tournament. 2 champions, those being Jason Black at 158 and Jay Huff at heavyweight. They also had a second-place finisher in Matt Kruger, who made it to the finals at 177 pounds, and quite a few third and fourth place teams. And another interesting note is that, like we were talking about, the 134-pound wrestlers, Matt Wallace wrestled behind Jeff Meyer. Both of those individuals placed in the top 5, as did Clinton Kudum wrestling behind Tim Jagger.
Yeah, Coach Baxter is real happy and always pleased to talk about his JV wrestlers, how important they are, and how we have a great number of JV wrestlers, and they always want to wrestle. Some coaches have a problem getting JV kids out, wanting them to wrestle. We got guys coming in every day practicing hard, and they want to get out there and wrestle on the mat, and it shows you they can do the job.
You bet. So here we go. They got the clock fixed finally, ladies and gentlemen. We're underway here at 126 pounds. Like we said, Chad Tunick, the junior from Perry, Iowa, taking on Mike Fry, a freshman from Stewart. So BV find themselves down 3-0 right now in the team score, looking to come back here with Chad Tunick.
Chad Tunick is really working the head on this kid here from Simpson, Mike Fry. Chad likes to get on the head, work hard as he backs out of bounds. What Chad's trying to do is either shuck him, it's front headlock position, shuck him or roll him.
Trying to take advantage of all that. There he gets himself in a little, kind of slipped on the middle of that, or maybe a little bit with that calf right there giving out on him. We don't know. But he gets himself back in the position. Now Fry with a tough front headlock on Tunick. We'll see what he can do from there.
What Chad wants to do is get underneath him, reshoot, or just get out, get a fresh start, get on top.
Like we talked about before the match started, Tunick found himself in a little tougher situation last year, come down near tournament time. Coach Baxter, and actually not just, there's Tunick in deep on a single leg, looking to come up now. He's going to have to turn around, see if he can turn that into points, and he does.
Very nice high crotch, Brad. Very nice high crotch. Got in, set it up, got his position, got in there, got the leg, come up with it, come out the back door. Exactly what you want.
Now Tunick's going to work for back points. I'll continue my story. Like we said, coming near the end of the season, Baxter and the rest of the team decided that they needed to make a few changes in the lineup, and one of those would be moving senior Brian Christensen down from 126 to 118.
Brett,
excuse me about that. Sorry, Brett. I apologize for that. But it moved down to 118, the spot that Tunick had handled all year long. That forced Chad to go up to 126, a weight he had not wrestled yet that year. Really, like I said before, may have cost him a national qualification, but really it shows the team aspect of all this, and how Tunick will make the sacrifice for the good of the team, and it's a move that worked out well for the Beavers as they placed in the top 5 last year.
Certainly. He had the option to stay, wrestle off, but he chose to go up because of the team. It do the team more good, and as you said, it worked out real well for the team.
You bet.
Chad, I'm sure, was a little disappointed that he didn't go, but was overall happy with the place finishing at the Nationals that the team received.
And you bet, knowing that Christensen was a senior, that was his last chance at what he was looking for. Tunick knows he's still got 2 years, this being one of them, that he's looking to get some pretty big things out of himself, and he's doing a good job so far. Like we said, coming in 20-5 so far, a fairly impressive record when you consider the type of competition BV's been taking on so far this year.
Right now I see Chad Tunick's been really working the tight waist, Brad. He's working the tight waist, trying to get the hips broken down, trying to get some space in there, work the arms, turn them over, get some near fall. Scores 2-0.
You bet. 2-0 here with 20 seconds to go in the first period as the clock winds down. Tunick still working on that leg ride here. He's building up quite a bit of riding time there, hopefully give himself another point advantage overall.
You see Chad Tunick working, got the legs in, working the hips, trying to get his hips to break, come over, and break the 45-degree angle that necessitates him to get the 2 points.
Exactly.
Near fall or 3-point near fall.
So as we're moving into the second period, looks like Fry is going to take the down position. Tunick will remain on top. Oh, excuse me, the clock was at double zeros, but they did start them over. So 1/1,000,000th of a second left there that we finished up that first period. Now it's going to be Tunick's choice here in the second, and he's going to choose down. So kind of flip-flop things over here. Up 2-0 is Chad Tunick. He's already got a little bit of experience taking on a Simpson wrestler so far this year. And earlier on at the, I believe it was the UNO Open in the first round, faced John Hatfield, who we'll see at the next weight here for Simpson. Tunick defeated Hatfield rather handily, 11-2. Now Hatfield moves back up to 134. It's Fry in here at 126, and Tunick, as he gets the escape here, looking to have his way with him.
Good movement by Chad Tunick underneath Brad. Off the whistle movement, comes out, gets his escape, and now he's looking for the takedown.
Fry still in there tough with the front headlock, though, not giving up too much space at all. And a stalemate is called.
Fresh start for Chad Tunick, Brad.
I believe they did not give him the escape on there. It seemed that Fry maintained control with the front headlock, so Tunick's going to stay down. All that effort was basically for nothing. There's 30 seconds ticks away on the second half clock, but here comes Tunick strong to his feet now, looking to get his hands free, trying to keep his hips down there and stay on his feet. See what he can do. There, Fry, nice job of breaking him back down. Good job controlling the hands up there when they got into the stand-up position.
Hand control is extremely important, whether you're working top or bottom, Brad. You see Fry here working. He's always got to hold Chad's wrists, hands, getting hand control, trying to work his power ride, break his hips down, and get something started. Chad clearing his hips, coming up, trying to get his hips clear and get an escape or reversal.
Fry, the freshman, doing a pretty decent job of hanging on to Tunick now, but Tunick gets his one leg free, looking to turn in there now, and as he steps over, it looks like if he can get that one leg free from Fry's grip, could have the one escape and possibly some takedown points to boot.
There you see Chad clearing his hips, getting away.
Excellent job there, getting away from there. Now we're on the side looking for a front headlock. Chad going to try to pull him back in and hopefully work for some more points here. So he's got a 3-0 lead with about 25 seconds left in the second period.
See Chad really putting a lot of pressure on his head, working him, twisting him, trying to get his base, trying to get him out of position. Nice job by Fry, keeping square, facing Chad Tunick. That's the most important part.
You bet. Got himself out of bounds. Really not much else did you do. Both wrestlers will start from the neutral position. 18 seconds left here in the second period.
As the second period winds down here, Brad,
there's Tunick in beautiful on a duck under there into the single leg. Going to have to try to keep his hips crossed with only 5 seconds left. He's got to
Chad's got to come up and get the hip, get his hands around the waist. There you go.
There he got it. With not much time to spare, Chad Tunick finishes up the second period with another takedown, moving the score to 5-0 in favor of Tunick. Fry going to take the down position now, try his chances down there as we go into the third and final period.
The third period is Chad Tunick's period, Brad. Any opponent that he's ever wrestled prior to this meet has got to know that the third period could be the most painful for him. He comes out in the third period as his period, probably works harder in the third period than the first period. He's got his motor running, he's ready to go. He's not feeling a thing. Really works hard in the third period.
That's where that conditioning aspect of Tunick you talked about earlier comes into play. If he's in better shape than these guys, he knows that they're going to be tired as the clock ticks down. He's going to put it to him then, put the most hurt on him, and put the most points on the board there. As he tried for a tilt, Fry doing a nice job of getting back to his base, but Tunick still in control, looking to get the legs in and ride.
Tunick working the power half here. Tunick's got to keep his hips up away from Fry. If Fry can collapse on his hips and cover, could be a reversal.
Tunick hanging on for dear life here with about 1:13 left in the third period. Looking to get across on that arm now, maybe possibly try a guillotine.
And Chad's in actually pretty good position here, Brad. He's covering his hips, got his hips up high, really working on him. Oh, you got an escape here, Brad. Tunick let him go. He feels more comfortable on the feet, feels like he's not getting anything from underneath. Working on the top, can't turn him. Why not score the points on our feet? Keep pushing him, keep working him, keep doing that duck under.
There he is again, deep on that high crotch in there into the single leg. Looking to turn that into some more points as Tunick, and he does. 2 more takedown. Now looks like he's gonna let him go again. He's looking to pour the points on the board now. 7-1 is the score. 35 seconds left in the final period.
Nice snap down by Chad Tunick. Clears his head. He felt Fry was hanging. He's a little out of position. Snaps him down, getting a little tired. Tunick says, no way, I'm feeling good.
Take it right to him. There he gets another 2 points. 7-point lead now. If he can let him go and get him taken down one more time, I believe that's extra team points for the Beavers to dig him out of this 3-0 hole they're in right now.
I believe Chad Tunick's already got riding time, Brad. So that will put him over the limit. Fry receiving a warning for stalling from underneath.
But with only 1 second left, and now there's the final buzzer. That's going to end it here at their 126-pound matchup. Chad Tunick for Buena Vista defeats Mike Fry from Simpson. The final score being 10-2, 8 points on the for the individual score, 4 points, I believe, for the team. That's going to put BV back on top now, going into 134, and this could be probably one of the best matchups of the evening. Jeff Meyer, freshman from Sumner, Iowa, coming in, taking on John Hatfield, another freshman. He's from Liberty, Missouri. Made the trip all the way from Missouri up here to Northwest Iowa to take on Meyer. He did.
Meyer, freshman from Sumner, Iowa, Brad, state champion last year, come in, lost to Matt Jensen early in the year on a wrestle-off, regained a spot over Christmas, come back doing a fine job on the varsity, just keeps getting better, Brad.
Coach Baxter had nothing but positive things to say about Meyer this week when we talked to him. He said the kid's really coming on strong for him. One thing you might see out of him, and it's kind of scary for the coach and it is for all the fans, Meyer finds himself down a lot of times in his matches. Gives up the early lead sometimes, but he's always battling in there, always trying to get the comeback, and really keeps it exciting for everybody.
Maybe we should start calling him the comeback kid, Brad.
He's going to be the comeback kid here. He's only a freshman. We got 4 years of wrestling from Jeff Meyer. Him and Hatfield did battle this weekend at the, like we said, at the Cornell Invitational. 15-8 was the final score. Hatfield did come out on top. Meyer did come back to place third. Did not meet up with Hatfield again because Hatfield was defeated by BV's JV wrestler, Mr. Wallace. So looking for a little bit revenge here tonight is Jeff Meyer, as he's taking it to him now here in the first period of action.
Jeff Meyer, a super wrestler, works a lot on his concentration, works hard, knows what he's going to do before he goes out on the mat. Goes out there, does everything in the book, throws it at him, and sees what happens. You know, that's what you got to do. Right now you see Jeff on top, and he's really working that arm. Oh, we got a stalemate, Brad.
Hatfield went for the outside single, couldn't quite get it on. Meyer held on long enough to get the stalemate call.
It'd been nice. I thought the stalemate was called a little early, Brad. Jeff was really working the one arm real well. Really had the potential to come around and get takedown.
Referee tonight looking for some action in these matches. Not going to let him hold on too long. As you see, Meyer driving on the edge of the mat, but Hatfield gets himself out of bounds, and they're going to start back up in the center again.
See Hatfield working wrist control a lot with Jeff, Brad. That's real important in getting somebody out of position when we're on our feet.
Exactly. So with 1 minute left here in the 3-minute first period, Jeff Meyer and Mr. John Hatfield, no score so far in their match. Obviously, both wrestlers know each other pretty well. They wrestled just 3 days ago, I believe. So looking to see who comes out in tonight's tilt. A lot of action near the edge of the mat there. That's not where you want to see it. Not a lot of points are going to be scored over there as the wrestlers step out of bounds. We got to start off back in the middle again. Meyer, and there's a nice double leg shot. Drives through and gets the outside trip. Hatfield throws in the whizzer, but Meyer's got his leg.
Meyer hooks the leg. If he can hold on, hook the leg, that should be 2-point takedown, Brad.
And with that arm hooked, you could possibly go for some back points, but Hatfield lets go of that, and Meyer ends up with a 2-point takedown and taking the 2-0 lead, something we don't see from Mr. Meyer too often. He has the lead early on here in the match.
Very good shot, Brad. Right off the whistle, popped him and went right underneath him, got in deep on the double. Nice finish, came up, hoping to get a tilt, turn, get maybe, instead of a 2-point takedown, a 5-point takedown, take him straight to his back. But overall, nice job throwing the leg in, holding his own, keeping his hips tight, right where we want to be.
You bet. Excellent analysis. As they go off to the side of the mat there, looks like a little blood there for Meyer. He's going to have to get that cleaned up. Meyer, like we said, didn't get the first half of the season, didn't get a lot of wrestling experience in, but here in the last few weeks he's gotten quite a bit of it. Actually 7 matches in Saturday's tournament there at Cornell. Now coming back 2 days later and wrestling here in the dual meet. He's getting his conditioning worked on outside of the wrestling room.
That's right, Brad. He's the type of kid, you wrestle 7 matches with anybody that's a lot of matches.
You bet it is.
2-day tournament even. But he comes back, wrestles hard every match, doesn't give up 1 ounce goes out there with the same attitude, the same amount of go every match.
There's Meyer tough on the far side cradle. He's got him to his back. The referee's going to count him off. Hatfield fighting desperately to get out of there, but it looks like Meyer's got it locked up pretty well. Not in a pinning position right now. As you can see, it's kind of what they call a false cradle. The shoulder is on top of Myers, but to end out the first period, Jeff Meyer puts another 3 points on the board for himself and takes the 5-0 lead.
Jeff Jeff Meyer coming out like a man possessed, Brad. Going after, working for those points.
He must have heard that little falling behind early comeback kid comment we made earlier and didn't quite like it, so he's going to kind of make us look a little foolish up here, but really nice job. You can tell, obviously, probably that Saturday's loss to Hatfield really might have something to do with this. Like we said, Meyer looking for revenge, and there he's going for a reversal. Can't quite get it there as Hatfield does a nice job of controlling the hips, keep himself on top. But he's going to have to come up here before the referee calls a stalling on him.
Just right now has got to square his hips, get his hips square to the mat, come up, base up, and work for an escape or reversal. See him working up to his base right now, trying to get some hand control. Hatfield really working tight waist real well.
There's Meyer looking to hip him over. Nice job by Jeff Meyer. Just basically bulled him over like a bulldozer right there. Pushes Hatfield off his hips, gets the 2-point reversal on the scramble situation. 7-0 already.
I think you see Jeff really trying to put the legs in here. Jeff uses the legs a lot in practice and in his meets. He feels real comfortable with them. Some wrestlers you don't see that, Brad. They don't feel real comfortable with the legs in. They just rather work a tight waist, spiral ride, or something like that to get him breaking out. Jeff, on the other hand, one of those guys that really likes to work the legs.
You bet. You see a lot of coaches sometimes when the wrestlers are putting the legs in, see a little cringe go into their faces. It's a pretty dangerous situation, but if you're good at it and you know what you're doing up there and you can keep yourself tight on there, really a pretty strong ride and a very difficult one to get out of. Of course, Hatfield did come up with the escape there as he did finally get Meyer off his back, and we're starting off back in the middle. 7-1 is our score with about 40 seconds left here in the second period. BV ahead in the team score, 4-3.
Actually, really nice crowd on hand here for this meet tonight, Brad, being it is a weeknight and so on.
You bet. Two teams both ranked in the top 20 nationally. Simpson coming in ranked at number 19, Buena Vista their own at 13th. These rankings came out, I believe it was about 2 weeks ago. A lot of things have happened those past 2 weeks. BV's wrestled some pretty tough competition. Their only losses so far to probably three of the best teams in the nation so far: Wartburg, Augustana, and UW La Crosse. So BV no slouch in their own, and there you see Meyer just putting on a scoring clinic tonight, making us look foolish here, talking about his comebacks. He'll get another, I believe it's 3 back points there and another cradle, so 12-1 now. Meyer opening up a commanding 11-point lead going into the third and final period.
You really see Jeff doing a lot of things right, pretty much everything right with a 12-1 score there, Brad.
Obviously.
Really working the hips, working his head on his feet, staying in good position, which is probably the most important thing when you're wrestling.
Exactly.
Good position is key.
Quick 2-point reversal there, though, by Hatfield. Cuts our lead down to 9. Here we'll see if Meyer can get out of there. There's another.
That's that hip over, that high leg over, Brad. Real effective. Coach Baxter really likes the roll, high leg over type moves. If you ever watched Brian Stewart wrestle last year, which I know you have, Brian was real good with the rolls, the high leg over, those sort of moves on the mat. Jeff, really good mat wrestler. Probably better mat wrestler than on his feet, but he can get the job done, obviously.
Good instincts down there when they get into those scramble situations. Knows where he's at all times and really does a nice job of getting him where he wants to be, as you saw in that. I call it a bulldozer technique. Maybe we'll have to call that the Meyer or something like that. I don't know. He's patented his own move here. Just going to knock your hips to the side and bull him over. We'll see. But 14-3 now is our score here. Clock's ticking down halfway through the third and final period. Meyer got those legs in again, looking to maybe bar a half and score, put a few more points on the board. And this is a match that when we came in there, and there you see Chad Tunick, imagine that, riding the exercise bike.
Just like I said, Brad, that must be psychic.
Been off the mat for all of, I believe 5 minutes now, and he's already back on there. But he's probably got a reason for that. They got another tournament BV does coming up this weekend. They got a dual meet, I believe, in Decorah, taking on the Luther Norse, and then Saturday they wrestle at Upper Iowa. So these guys, in 1 week's time, wrestling in 4 different meets with 2 invitationals and 2 dual meets. So getting a lot of action here as January winds down. We'll be heading into the February matches.
See Tim Jagger talking to his sister Julie Johnson. Her husband happened to be his old assistant wrestling coach.
I did not know that, Chad.
Yep, his little niece, I believe, that he's
getting a little family advice there before he steps in here to 158 pounds tonight. You see, as time's ticking down here in our 134-pound matchup, 14-4 is the score. Meyer with the commanding lead, getting the revenge on Mr. John Hatfield here at 134 pounds.
You see the 4 points. He did. I feel like he kind of gives those to him. He gets in a little awkward position, and rather than chance it, turn to his back, he just assumed give it up, give him the 1 point escape, and take him down and get it back.
Right. both Jeff Meyer and Al Baxter obviously got to be pretty happy with that win. Like we said, the loss over the weekend kind of stung Meyer a little bit, especially when the JV wrestler came back and defeated Hatfield. But Jeff Meyer put no doubt in anybody's mind who the better wrestler was out there tonight, and that's just going to help him out coming on later in the year. But let's move on now. 142 pounds is the matchup now. Tony Doherty, one of the two seniors here for the Beavers, taking on, or three, excuse me, from Norwalk, Iowa, taking on Todd Johnson, a freshman from Fort Madison, Iowa, a high school teammate of our own Brian Beck's.
That's right. Tony Doherty, what a story we can tell about Tony. Sophomore year, national qualifier for Beavers.
Conference
Last year,
champion.
plagued by injury, couldn't really wrestle up for the position. No slouches ahead of him, if I must say so myself.
Right.
Ahead of him, last year, also plagued by injury. Comes back this year. You'll see more tape on Tony than on 3 rolls of tape, I think, there, Brad.
More than you can find in the athletic department. They got to stock up quite a bit down there in the training room when they know Tony's going to be down there. But he takes the early 2-0 lead here on Johnson. Like we said, Johnson, a teammate of our own Brian Beck's. We got a chance to talk to him last year. He came and visited the BV campus, and I guess hanging out with us for a weekend was just pretty much all he needed to see of this campus. And now here
I
he
guess
is.
so, Brad, but maybe after tonight he'll wish he would have came here.
I think he will after he sees what kind of the team score is going to be. Right now it's 8-3 in favor of Buena Vista. Doherty with the 2-1 lead over Johnson now. Got the quick takedown, lets him go, and now he's working back on his feet again.
Tony really good from his feet, real quick, a lot of movement. Another one of those hard Chad Tunick type workers. Works real hard, keeps his weight under control. Excellent job by him. Tony, as you know, was married this summer.
Yep.
And married life must have been treating him pretty good. He's got a really good record this year.
Coming in at 17-8 so far, and couple losses this year to two of the top wrestlers in the nation, 142 Raphael Wilson from Augustana and Jamal Fox Wartburg. Both of those matches, looking at the score, it was 9-5 against Wilson, a 5-3 loss to Fox. Tony Doherty putting himself right up in there in contention for All-American status come near the end of the year.
Yeah, Tony, super attitude, works real hard, keeps everybody going wrestling him. Super quick, there you see low single shot. Whistle, what whistle? I didn't hear a whistle. I think that's what he's saying there, Brad.
Was a little surprised on that. The cheerleaders cleared out pretty quick, but Doherty was still on the mat looking for the takedown. But anyway, we're going to start back up in the middle now. 2-1 is still the score here in favor of Doherty. Tony doing a great job controlling the head there. You see Johnson trying to get in twice on there. Nice turnaround there by Doherty. Gave Johnson the open shot at the legs, but took him and said, buddy, I'm going around. So they gets himself another 2 points, builds up his lead 4-1 now with about 1:15 left here in the first period.
See, Tony's real smart move on the edge of the mat. A lot of guys you'll see letting up on the edge of the mat. Johnson took a shot in. Tony spun around quickly. Johnson was out of bounds. All Tony needs to keep in bounds are his 2 toes. Gets the takedown for 2, covers the hips, takedown.
Exactly what he did. He's going to let Johnson go again. They're going to start out from their feet one more time.
See Tony trying to keep himself in the middle. Johnson working in.
There, Johnson, another shot. Doherty just really blocking off the head really well. Johnson's going to get his arms in there, but that's about all he's going to get in. And when you're taking 2 arms against a big trunk like Tony Doherty like that, not really much is going to get accomplished. And Doherty knows that. That's what he's working to get the turnaround like you saw in that spin around earlier on. So
see Tony really working, pushing towards Johnson. Really, he keeps after him. Never see him back in the way. Always move it. If Johnson wants, he's either got to back away or come in or circle. You see Johnson right now, he's back into the edge of the mat and only circling when he has to.
There's Doherty in deep on the single. It gets around behind now. Going to try to keep Johnson in bounds. He's looking to get out there. He covers the other ankle, and that's going to give him 2 more points. Building up his lead 6-2 now for Doherty as the first period is winding down.
16.5 seconds left in the first period, Brad. I think you see Tony trying to hold Johnson down right now and just acquire a little riding time. He doesn't want to let him go. 16 seconds. Sometimes a lot of times, sometimes not.
Johnson does a nice job right there, though, getting his hips out. Tried to get the turnaround. He's got one ankle in front of him, but he's only got 5 seconds left to turn that into points. Doherty trying to hook the other leg. Just basically, like you said, holding on here as the first buzzer is going to sound. So 6-2 now is our score. 1 period of wrestling underway here at 142 pounds. BV with the team lead here, 8-3. Doherty will defer his decision, and Johnson's going to pick the down position, probably figuring that Doherty's going to let him go like he has so far here, and they're going to work it from their feet, and that's exactly what Doherty's signaling right there. You see the little triangle. Optional start there. He'll shove Johnson away, and they're going to get things going from the feet one more time. Get a good look at BV wrestling coach Al Baxter right there. He's had quite a bit of success against Simpson College in his career. 12-2 overall so far. Their last loss coming at the 1990-91 season. The two teams split that year.
See Johnson getting warned for stalling there, Brad. He's, like I said, he's not circling. He's backing to the edge of the mat and then only circling instead of going out of bounds. You can't do that in the Iowa Conference. You got teams like Wartburg, Buena Vista, not in the Iowa Conference, but see a lot of the Iowa Conference teams wrestling Cornell. They just keep coming, keep pushing you.
Right.
That's what you want to do.
You bet. And there you see Doherty in again deep, pushing the action right there, getting another takedown here in the second period.
Tony's really working the edge of the mat well, Brad. Johnson doesn't
Exactly.
feel real comfortable in the center of the mat. Tony says, all right, we'll take you outside and do the job.
You bet. He only needs a couple inches there to get things done, and that's exactly what he's done there. As you see, three out of his 4 takedowns so far were right there on the edge of the mat, so he's doing a great job. Looking to maybe get a little bit of riding time built up here. Another point, take him where you can get him, I guess, is what he's saying right now, and he's going to try to possibly turn Johnson over for some back points.
See Tony trying to get some wrist control, hand control, working the wrist, bring him down. There you see Jason Black, the national champion hopeful.
You bet, exactly. One of the top wrestlers for BV so far this year. We'll see him later on at 167 pounds. Black just doing a tremendous job so far this year. 22-3 right now, with only one of those 3 losses coming to a Division III wrestler, that being Mike Doyle from Wartburg College. And I do believe when I saw him over the weekend, Doyle has moved down a weight now. He's down to 158, so really nobody in the weight class that has come close to Black so far. That's where he's going to be looking come March tournament time, looking to get himself up on the top of that platform.
See Tony working the edge of the mat again, really working Johnson's head. You see him out there really snapping and pulling down on it. 3 periods of that, full periods of that, hit the third period, boy, you really don't feel like being out there much longer.
Another nice looking spin move there by Tony Doherty. Really doing a great job opening up the legs just a little bit, just teasing Johnson enough to say, come on in. I'll give you the takedown. Then no, takes it right away from him again, gets spun around behind and gets himself 2 points. So.
See Tony working the wrist, trying to get in there, trying to break the hips down, work for a tilt, anything, keeps his hips tight, breaks them down, keeps the pressure on. Exactly what you want to see. It's quiet and riding time, so even though he's not scoring, he's always working to score, but as long as you're working to score, keep on riding him, you're scoring on the clock, riding time counts.
Keep putting points on the board. There's just a couple seconds left here. The second period's going to wind down. And just like we saw at the end of the first period, Doherty ends up on top here in the second period. 10-4 is this lead for Doherty right now. They're going to go into the third period. Doherty's going to choose the down position, position he's really not used to so far tonight. Hasn't found himself there yet, but so we'll see how he handles a little change of scenery, being on the bottom for a little while.
I think what we see at Tony is an explosion from underneath. Get his hips away, get out, get neutral where he's really comfortable. Hand control again. Bottom guy is just as important as the top guy. Get that hand control, clear your hips, come out, escape right where he wants to be.
Exactly what he did. It looks like he was listening to you right there, Chad. You kind of got that telepathic power going to the wrestlers like I know you do. So Doherty back up on his feet there again.
Nice shot by Johnson. Had Tony standing up. Tony working real hard. Anytime you come up a little bit, clear your hips, get some weight back on your heels. Good shot by Johnson. I mean, this kid's a freshman. He'll come in, work real hard,
Got a lot of wrestling ahead of him, and here getting kind of put to school here by the senior Doherty as he's doing a nice job really shutting down any shot that Johnson's taken so far.
See Tony really working the head, but kind of left his lead leg a little unprotected there, Brad.
You bet. John's doing a nice job of snatching that up. Now he's going to try to keep Doherty, try to pull him back in the center, see if he can put a couple more points on the board.
Right here, Tony just wants to keep his hips away, keep him on the ankle, get the stalemate call.
Another pretty quick stalemate there by the referee. He's not giving them too much of a chance to improve their position right now, which is, no argument from either side on that one, I'm sure, because not really sure where anybody would have gone on there. But there's Doherty coming back in for a shot. Really some good back and forth action here with a minute left in the third period. Out of bounds one more time, going back to the middle. See Doherty shaking his head a little bit in disgust right there. I think he wanted that takedown on the edge again. That's where he's gotten most of them so far. Nice job of keeping the head down. Doherty back around behind for another 2 points. 13-4, 13-5 now as he lets him go, and he's right back in on the legs. Another
nice
2
low
points.
single. Low single. Come back, gets gives him an escape. Johnson's not expecting him. He's right back in there on the leg.
Exactly.
Easy 2.
Doherty looking to put on a little takedown clinic here now as he lets Johnston go again. 15-6, I believe, is the score right here in the third period. There you get a look at a few pretty excited BV fans right there. Looks like a lot of
that was Matt Sauer and Ryan Schweitzberger, 2 BV wrestlers themselves. Matt Sauer plagued by some injuries this year.
Right, exactly.
Hopefully come back 3 weeks or so, wrestle off for the varsity spot, and we'll see what happens.
See what he can do. He's going to be a good one, but like you said, he's had a lot of problems with injuries right now, something you hate to see, but it's something that happens, especially in a rough and tumble sport like wrestling right here. Johnson got in deep on a single leg attempt there, but Doherty looking to maybe turn that shot into a couple more points of his own. He's got just called the stalemate. The BB crowd not agreeing with that. Doherty looked like he was going to lock a cradle in there with his ankles.
That was deja vu. I believe we're in that same position late in the first period, Brad.
So stalemate's called. They're both back up their feet with 10 seconds left. Doherty with about 5 seconds left to put a few final points on the board as Johnson just basically backing away, keeping on bounds. No
Doherty
points rewarded.
Doherty doing a super job working Johnson's head. Johnson wanting to wrestle the edge of the mat. Tony says doesn't really like it, but says, well, I'll take what I can get. That's the third period.
That's going to put a close to this 142-pound matchup. Tony Doherty of Buena Vista defeating Todd Johnston of Simpson. 16-6 the final score, giving another 14 points to BV right now, building that lead up 12-3. But one thing we got to say about Doherty is there was no let-up come to third period in that match. So let's move on one more match. Now we're moving on to 150, and like we said, this could be a big one here too. We got for Simpson, 150-pound Shannon McLaughlin, a senior from Norwalk, Iowa, graduated with Tony Doherty. He's taking on our own Chad Gugamas from Aurora, Nebraska. Coming into the match, actually coming into the weekend, I believe it was, McLaughlin was ranked #1 in the nation at 150 pounds. He went into the tournament, looked really good, made it to the finals, was defeated by Wartburg's Eric Kimball. So looks like his ranking will probably drop a little bit due to that, but obviously we're looking at one of the top wrestlers in the nation here at 150 pounds and taking on a pretty formidable opponent in Chad Gugamas.
That's right, Brad. Chad Gugamas didn't see a whole lot of varsity experience his first 3 years here, wrestling behind our national champion, Brian Stewart. Chad, no slouch. Because he didn't wrestle a lot of varsity, I'm sure that's part of why he doesn't get the recognition he should. One of our top wrestlers, always, only the best wrestle varsity, have BV, I guess. But Chad Gugamas, super work ethic. It's tough coming to practice 3 years, not getting a whole lot of varsity experience, wrestling JV, coming back your senior year, looking for it, and here he is, winning a lot of matches. He does a super job. Wrestles a lot of close matches, pushes some guys real far.
One thing you're going to see with Chad, he's probably what you want to call a conservative wrestler. Really likes to keep himself in control. He's more comfortable with a close match, keeping like a 3-2, 5-2 score, something like that, than he is with really pouring on and taking a lot of shots and stuff like that. But with an 18-8 record, obviously he's doing something right, and he's getting himself into a position where later on in the season he could be one of those surprises, for BV.
I dare say, Brad, that if we added up Chad Gugamas' the points he lost by in those 8 matches, it would not be much over 8.
Probably not. No.
A lot of 1 and 2 point losses there. Really wrestles a lot of close matches. Real solid wrestler.
Yep. Never at any point really out of a match. He's always in there. Not a big pinner yet. I don't believe he's got one yet so far this year, but like we said, with 18 victories, something's going right for him, so we're not going to argue with it here. Now he's taking on McLaughlin, who, like we said, ranked #1 in the nation prior to this weekend, so this is going to be a pretty tight matchup here as both men just kind of battling for position at the center of the mat.
McLaughlin was second last year, only in the conference, only to Brian Stewart, who was, in fact, a national champion last year. Brian Stewart, probably one of the best-known wrestlers in Buena Vista.
You bet. So both these wrestlers got a little bit of experience here wrestling behind Stewart here, and both of them trying to come out and see which one was better. That's one thing with. It's one thing with Gugamas. Yeah, sure, he wrestled JV last year, but who was he behind? He was behind a national champion. So there's nothing to hang your head about that. And there you see him get in on a high single leg.
What you want to see Chad do here, Brad, is pull in the single, pull it in tight to his chest, come up with it, get in position where he can finish. Right now, McLaughlin doing a super job, extending his hip, putting all his pressure on Chad Gugamas. But an excellent shot by Chad Gugamas.
Right. something he's going to have to keep working on here. 20 seconds left in the first period, but like you said, McLaughlin, a great job keeping his hips down, putting a lot of weight on Gugemoss's head and shoulders right there, so gets himself in the stalemate position. They'll start right back up. There, McLaughlin, nice shuck attempt right there, but Gugemoss fights it off. Now McLaughlin in on the outside single, looking to come around. Gugemoss has got the whizzer and looking to hold off. Now 2 seconds left in the period, and McLaughlin's going to get nowhere with that one. So our first period ends probably in typical fashion in a Chad Gugemoss match. 0-0 is the score. So we're going to move on to the second period now, and Gugemoss looks like he's going to take the down position.
Brad, there's not much you can say about the first period, except for both wrestlers. Excellent position, both working real hard, get each other out of position, take the shot. Couple shots made, couple shots got in deep, can't quite finish them. This is going to be one of those matches. It's going to be good and close.
Kind of like one of those good boxing matches. Ooh, there you see McLaughlin doing a nice job getting the cradle there on Gugemoss. Back points are being counted away there as he gets the, looks like he got the shoulders just past the 90-degree angle, I guess.
It's supposed to be 45, Brad. Obviously, the referee thinks it is 90 degrees.
I was looking at the 90-degree. We didn't have our protractors out there. We can't argue too much from up here, but we'll see. So Gugemoss finds himself down 3-0 right now as McLaughlin starts out the second period with a quick far side cradle.
Chad Gugemoss right here has got to clear his hips, get McLaughlin out of the legs. It can be extremely tiring from underneath having so many legs, and you're carrying your weight, his weight, breaking your hips down. It's real tough. He's keeping it real tight.
Exactly. There looks like McLaughlin's going to go for another far side cradle right there with the legs in. Gugemoss flattening out to his stomach, trying to break that grip right now. Doesn't want to give up any more back points. And he does finally break the grip, and he's back up to his base. But McLaughlin, really a strong leg rider right there. You can see he kept Gugemoss's head down the whole time. Not much you can do when your head's laying on the mat right there. That's not where you want to be. Gugemoss looking possibly from the whistle right here, going to have to explode to get out of there, not even give McLaughlin a chance to get the legs in here. And looks like we got another little bloody timeout right now. So as both wrestlers go over to talk to their respective coaches, you know that Baxter's going to be telling Chad to just kind of shake off that near fall thing right there and get back in there and come out at this whistle, get things going. Down 3-0.
What we'll see Chad do hopefully here is protect his hips a little bit and not let McLaughlin throw that leg in. What he wants to do is McLaughlin's going to try and clear Chad, open up his hips. See, always looking to throw the leg in. Feels real comfortable with the legs. Chad doing a good job of keeping his base here. McLaughlin stretching his back leg out, trying to get his hips open up to throw that leg in and start really working Chad's shoulders next. Oh, you see McLaughlin really working for a cradle with the leg in. Chad working his hands, getting them away. And McLaughlin does an excellent job of riding top here. He keeps his hips tight, keeps his hips high, putting a lot of pressure on Chad Gugemoss here.
Textbook riding by Mr. McLaughlin, you can say that. There's Gugemoss now looking for maybe a switch, but McLaughlin does have those legs and they're pretty tight, nowhere to go. And as the second period winds down, it looks like we're going to get 2 minutes of riding time added up there for Chad McLaughlin. So, excuse me, Shannon McLaughlin, I'm sorry. Got Chad and my Shannons mixed up right there. So we'll move into the third period now. 3-0 is still the score, and looks like McLaughlin's going to go down. Gugemoss probably going to have to let McLaughlin go here, looking for the win. Probably going to have to try to work it on his feet unless he can get him broken down and turned over right away.
That's right, Brad. Gugemoss actually down by 4 points. McLaughlin had 2 minutes riding time. Definitely the advantage.
Exactly.
All you need is the 1 point advantage. Chad now working on breaking away that riding time. What we look to see Chad doing right here is to work McLaughlin, try and turn him. If you can't turn him, let him go, maybe work from his feet. Chad, also one of those guys that kind of likes the legs.
Likes throwing him in there. You see he's got the arm barred right there, and a little battle there for the heel there as McLaughlin tries to keep those legs out of there.
Chad doing a good job keeping McLaughlin's hips down, flat to the mat. Wants to tilt him, looking to throw the legs in. McLaughlin doing a good job. Two really closely matched wrestlers here, Brad. McLaughlin was a quick scorer in the second period, kind of caught, I think, Chad off guard a little bit. What can you say? It's one of those things that happens. Chad working real hard, come back, looking for the win here.
With only a minute left, though, Gugemoss going to have to pick up the pace a little bit, done a great job of riding McLaughlin out so far. It does take away the riding time advantage as he goes into the second minute of the period here now, but he's going to have to get some points on the board. He's still down 3-0 and hasn't gotten him turned over yet. There he lets McLaughlin go now. Looking to try to work things on his feet. Gugemoss really going to have to start hitting his shots right now.
See, Chad probably be pretty active right here, really working on getting McLaughlin out of position. McLaughlin, you probably see him staying, being a little more passive, just staying in good position, keeping Gugemoss away.
That's exactly what he did right there. As Gugemoss went in for the double leg attempt. McLaughlin perfect, keeping his hips squared and gets himself out to the outside and turns Gugemoss's takedown attempt into 2 points of his own. So he builds his lead up to 6-0 now with 30 seconds left in the match. Sorry about the little fade to black right there, kind of a little brain fade on all our parts right there, but we're going to come back now. Like we said, 30 seconds left. Gugemoss down 6-0. Really going to have to, probably with only 30 seconds left, looking for the pin or something like that to get an upset here against McLaughlin. But like you said, both wrestlers just a fine job right here. The 3-point near fall, like you said, it was quick. It was right off the whistle. It's one of those things that happen. Gugemoss can't hang his head about that at all.
Right here, McLaughlin, you see, doing a good job of keeping after it. Chad Gugemoss looking for the stalemate, look to get a fresh start. That's the end of the third period.
Not going to happen as McLaughlin rides him out with the legs to end it all up. 7-0 is our final score. I do believe McLaughlin picked up his extra riding time point right there. Gets the 7-point decision over Gugemoss. Closing our team gap now from 12-3 to 12-6 as we move on to the 158-pound matchup. And that's going to feature Tim Jagger, the junior from George, Iowa, coming in with a 15-8 record, taking on Dan Slider, a junior from Eagle Grove. So 2 juniors going at it right now in this 158-pound tilt. These 2 wrestlers wrestled once this year. They met up at the Dick Walker Invitational, Wartburg. Jagger, really no problem with Sleater in that one. 18-2 was the final. Got the technical fall against him. So we'll see if he can keep that string going here against him tonight.
Tim Jagger, one of the best wrestlers from his feet, super from his feet, extremely solid. I've wrestled with Tim my whole high school career. He's in my conference. I've got to watch him wrestle as a little kid. Super technique-wise, right there, perfect double leg takedown. Pops the arms up, goes in, covers the hips, 2 takedown. Now he's going to work on turning him. See Tim Jagger working that arm bar, trying to get a little bit of a. Tim's got a tilt that he works off that arm bar a lot of times.
Little loose on that one, and excuse me here for a second. Slider does get the escape on that one, so that makes the score 2-1. And Slider comes back in deep on a strong double leg attempt, but nice job by Jagger keeping his hips low and getting away and not giving up any points there, and comes back with a strong double leg of his own right there. Turns him over, and nice job there by Tim Jagger. He's just a takedown machine.
You see Tim working. He's got it seems like 100 different ways he sets up his shots. Right there, working the Russian tie, putting a lot of pressure on his shoulder. Slater working away, pushing away. Tim pops it up, gets in there, double leg takedown.
You bet.
Tim Jagger's got one of the toughest double legs I think you'll find in Division III, Brad.
Just tougher than heck from the feet, and there you can see he builds his takedown total for the season up to 53 now. Last year he led the team with 115 takedowns, for the year. Just a tremendous job. When he comes out there and they're both up, you know that the advantage has got to be on Tim Jagger's side, and he's proven it right now.
Right there, you see him letting him up again. He feels real confident from his feet. He feels the feet. If his man's going to sit underneath, he can't turn him, we'll go from our feet where I can dominate.
You bet.
And that's exactly what he does, Brad. He dominates people from his feet.
There he is again, deep on the double leg. We're going to say it over and over again. I know in this matchup, you're trading. Right now he's trading. He's giving up 1 point to Sleater every time, but he's taken 2 points of his own, and right now he's already built up a 6-2 lead so far with 1:15 left in the first period still.
Right there you see Tim getting in from one side, reaching all the way across for the tight waist, just trying to wrench him, break down his hips. And right now you'll see him work a wrist, trying to get something going, turn him, get 2 or 3 point near fall. One thing I have noticed, Brad, a lot of Simpson wrestlers, when they get on the edge of the mat, they seem to let up quite a little. I know that's something that Coach Baxter really preaches, because a lot of times you can give up a lot of points on the edge of the mat, and as we saw in Tony Doherty's match, that's exactly what happened.
That's where he scored most of his points, is on the edge of the mat there. When one wrestler gives up, he's in there taking the shot, and you know that Simpson head coach Bob Dare is going to have something to say about that, because he's as you have experienced already in your lifetime, he's pretty much a disciplinarian when he's on the mat, isn't he?
That's right, Brad. Boy, the stories I could tell about Coach Dare, you know, as in junior high and things like that, I came to Coach Baxter's camp here at Buena Vista College, and Coach Dare is always here for Coach Baxter, and he is Coach Baxter's disciplinarian at that camp. I seen him run many a soul out on the track for hours on end. One story I happen to have is a young gentleman ran 20 miles one day, 3.5 hours worth. You know, he really, Dare, one of the greatest coaches in Iowa history, obviously.
No doubt about it. Something we should mention that found out from Coach Baxter this week, this will be Dare's final season as the head wrestling coach at Simpson College. He's, like we said, he's Coach Baxter. Obviously, he's getting up there in years a little bit. He's ready to retire, step away from the wrestling mat for a while. He's had, like I said, just a tremendous career, over 300 wins in the high school ranks, keeps the Simpson team consistently in the top 20 in the nation and stuff like that. Really done all he can for the sport of wrestling. Gonna step back a little bit, keep on teaching. He's also what we should mention, a heck of a women's golf coach there for Simpson. Two-time national runner-up his past 2 seasons there. He's going to hang on to that job for a while and see if he can't get them a national championship. But really, Coach Baxter, nothing but the utmost respect for Coach Dare, and you can tell when they're out there and they're talking with each other.
2 great friends and 2 great competitors, Brad.
Exactly. Neither of them wanting to lose this match, but both of them wanting to win so bad, you know. So it's going to come down to it. Obviously, Baxter's kind of had the upper hand here lately, but he doesn't. He talks about, he knows where he got it from, and he knows it came from Coach Dare, and he owes a lot of his success so far to Bob Dare, and he told us that numerous times this week. You know, if it wasn't for Coach Dare, Coach Baxter maybe not would have gone to college. He said he's one of the biggest influences on his life, not only in wrestling but in life in general, probably next to his parents. So just nothing but respect. And there you see Tim Jagger just really opening up a humongous lead now against Dana Slider out here. 11-2 is our score here, halfway through the second period.
Right there, what you saw, Brad, was Tim working, getting Slider's hips away from Tim's. Slider wasn't covering Tim well. Tim got a hold of his hips, brought him out in front, faced him, got into a single leg position, got the 2-point reversal, lets him up, and we're ready to go from our feet again. I'm predicting a double leg takedown here, Brad.
Not a bad call there when you're dealing with Tim Jagger, and there he gets in and does cover the hips on there, in deep again on I believe that was a single low jab, but he does turn into double and gets the 2-point takedown. So Billy,
well, I was half right, Brad.
Hey, you were right there. I do not argue with you. You're the man. That's why I got you here. But let's look at now Jagger. We should mention now, last year, most people probably remember Jagger wrestling the 167 pounds for the Beavers. Him and Jason Black kind of did the old switcheroo at the beginning of the season. Black up to 167 now. Jagger down to 58, excuse me. He's a 2-time national qualifier. He's looking to maybe go one step farther than that, hopefully get on that All-American platform come March.
That's right, Brad. Tim's holding a 15-8 record, 70-39 career. Exceptional record for a junior wrestling industry. Wrestled varsity as a freshman. You can't, Tim's one of those guys that comes in the wrestling room, super work ethic. A lot of the guys you'll see wrestling varsity, we say that about everybody, but that's how you get championship type teams. Good
exactly.
work ethic, come in every day working hard.
And a lot of it comes from that guy you see on the screen right there, Coach Al Baxter. He knows he doesn't go out. He doesn't always probably. He did a good job recruiting this year. Got a lot of state champions and state place winners in there. But that's not all he looks for. He looks for the quality of the individual and stuff like that. And you can see that in the work ethic of all the guys he has wrestling for him out here tonight. And so, really, just a very strong program he's built here, and nothing but a great job from Al Baxter.
See Tim coming up, clearing his hips, stand up, getting hand control, clearing his hips, turning, getting away for escape. Nice snap down.
Long single-leg attempt right there, as you see Coach Dare talking with his 118-pounder. He, of course, was victorious for the Simpson Storm this evening with a very tight decision over Brian Beck. But Dare, this is kind of this is kind of, like we said, it's his last year. It's been kind of a rough year for him. At the beginning of the year, we understand that he had 4 or 5 of his somewhat better wrestlers, may have been varsity wrestlers. They quit on him early on in the season, and that's just something that every coach has to deal with, but they all hate to deal with. It's kind of like the injury plague that's been hurting BV right now. Is both Jagger and Slider go to the edge of the mat there. Jagger's built up a 13-point lead now. One more takedown could end this one for Tim Jagger and give BV a few extra team points with a technical fall.
Back to the wrestlers quitting, Coach Dara, coaching at Simpson. You got to look at we're looking at Division III here, Brad. There are no scholarships. Basically the only recognition you get is self-recognition and recognition of your school. You get no money to go there, and obviously
incentive's a tough thing to come by.
That's right.
You're exactly right. There you see Jagger does get that final takedown with 35 seconds left in the third period. Jagger ends that match with a 21-5 technical fall over.
I believe it's a match termination, Brad. I hate to keep interrupting you.
That's all right. That's right. We have a new rule in college wrestling this year. It is not a technical fall. They've taken away one of the extra team points you get for that. Now it's called match termination. I myself don't understand the whole reason for all that, but hey, if you're looking to edit a rule book, hey, more power to you. That's fine. So match termination, the call on that last one. Now we move on to 167, and what can we say about Jason Black?
Well, we could say a lot about Jason Black. I
could
believe. Brad, All-American last year, came back really disappointed with himself. You see a lot of people coming back from national tournament, get the plaque. You're an All-American. He comes back. He's upset.
He's mad. He's
right. He's mad. He been in the weight room all summer, working hard, worked out with the Iowa guys over the summer. Coming back, he's a silent leader. Doesn't say a whole lot in practice, but if you can keep up with him, more power to you.
Yep. Lead by example, Jason Black does there. You saw it on that nice fireman's carry attempt right there, giving himself a 2-0 lead.
Jason Black, one of the best riders I've seen. Wrestles similar to Brian Stewart, but not exactly like him. I guess you can say they wrestle similar because they both do a lot of things well, Brad.
Right.
Jason really works the hand control from his feet, head control, moves his man around a lot from down position. Always keeps his hips tight. It's just like he's stuck to your back and he's going to turn you. He'll roll with you. He'll do whatever it takes to turn you or to get out from underneath you. You'll see a lot of motion from Jason Black.
Keeping the pressure on at all times. As they're circling near the edge of the mat there, 2-1 is still our score. Black looking to add to that right now with another takedown, looking for a position on the inside tie.
Jason Black this year really kind of plagued with a lot of injuries as well. Right now he's feeling pretty good, I believe. He's got a little mat toe going. Haven't had some knee problems. I don't know exactly how that's feeling for him. And had a rib problem. He had a rib that was dislocating quite frequently.
Right.
Had to have that pretty much put in every day before practice and after.
Not a pleasant sight. Coach Baxter told us earlier in the week, like he said, he's pretty comfortable with where his team is at right now. And he said, as he was knocking on wood, he said, we're actually kind of healthy right now. So he's just kind of keeping his fingers crossed, hoping these guys are going to keep themselves in a pretty decent shape. And he knows that he's got the talent out there to do some pretty big things here as the season wears on.
That's right here, Brad. You saw Jason Black coming out of bounds, but at all times it seemed as though Ott stood up. Jason Black stood up with him. They're right there, hips tight, lean up, really putting a lot of pressure on him. Right here you see Jason Black got the leg in, figure 4 the leg, really working his hips, really staying tight, chopping the arm, working for the near fall.
And that's something like you're saying before, that's really going to wear a wrestler down because like you said, Ott from Simpson now carrying a lot of weight, not only his own but also Jason Black's, and that really come down near the end of the second, going into the third period and stuff like that. That's when fatigue's going to take over, and that's when Jason Black is going to really kick it into gear.
Jason, the type of wrestler, keeps such good position that when he does a move, it's so powerful. He's such a powerful wrestler. Keeps moving. He's got a goal set for himself. He's going to be a national champion. And I've heard him say it last year after the thing. some friends were talking about getting tattoos, and he said, well, I'm going to wait till I can get one on me that says I'm a national champion. And I don't think I need to say much more what he's got, what goals he's got set for himself.
That's right, pretty much set in stone for Jason Black right now, and he's doing everything he possibly can to get himself in that position. Like we said, a 22-3 record coming in this match. Only one person in Division III has beaten him so far that year. Like you said, that'd be Doyle from Wartburg. Other than that, they were Division I wrestlers coming out of that UNO Open where you wrestle pretty much any division you can find right there. So now with Doyle moving down to 58, not that Black couldn't have beat him, but that really opens the door for Jason Black here coming into tournament time. And he knows it too, and he's going to keep working hard as hard as he possibly can to get himself in that position. He wants to be at the top of that platform.
Right here you see Jason really working the head. He's the type of wrestler that he doesn't move a lot. He makes you come to him, and if you see Ott reaching a lot, and see Jason working the wrist, getting the Russian tie. Jason coming at you. You know, he doesn't really chase you, but he's always in really good position.
Yep, always right there, just a couple inches from his opponent's face right there. They see him working on that head, trying to get it down, open up a shot. A little bit of slapping going on in there, and looks like Black took a quick finger to the eye.
There you see two forfeits.
Yeah, two guys that are...
and Clint Dunlop. Unfortunately, we don't get to watch those guys wrestle tonight. We're looking forward to see Jay Huff. Hopefully, well, obviously he'll continue his 15-match winning streak.
That's right. He comes into this he came into tonight's meet with 14 straight wins, with a 16-1 record overall. Has won his last 14, which left him at I believe it was 17th on the all-time Buena Vista win streak list. With the win tonight, taking the forfeit, he will jump all the way up to, looks like it'll be 11th place, jump 6 spots on that list. So Jay Huff kind of writing his own little chapter of Buena Vista history here, and this is junior season. But really, when we're talking about Huff, probably one of the more exciting heavyweights you're going to find in college wrestling in any division. You know, he's big, and yet he's quick, and really keeps the action going. And I watched him over the weekend. He took first at the Cornell Invitational, really just kept going. Really a fun wrestler to watch.
Really explosive, Brad. Super quick. I know that in high school he was their high school football fullback.
You bet. So he's a pretty tremendous athlete in his own right. And the guy sitting next to him was Clinton Dunlop, of course. He's only a freshman this year, into the varsity lineup, like you said, replacing the injured Matt Sauer. Probably Dunlop is a natural 177-pounder, and he'll probably tell you the same thing. But they needed him at a 190. He tried to put on a little bit of weight. He's stepping in there and really doing a fine job filling in so far this year, and Baxter expects great things from him. But as the second period comes to an end now, Jason Black with a 4-1 lead so far in his match against Brian Ott. And as we go into the third period, Ott's going to go to the down position, down by 3.
Jason Black's second period, you saw a lot of movement from their feet, and a lot of tying up, working, trying to get each other out of position. Both wrestlers stayed in really good position, stayed square. No angle really to take on the shot. Blocking off with his hands. Right there you see Jason Black trying to work, break his hips down, bring him back down to the mat. We're out of bounds. We'll start in the middle. Ott is still down, and Jason Black's on top.
You bet. No change in the situation. Nothing wrong with that. We'll come back now. Like we said, Black was an All-American last year, won the 58-pound conference championship, and did reach it all the way to the semifinals in the national tournament. Got himself just one match away from making that final spot, lost that match, and like we said, talking about momentum being a big thing in sports, that's something with the national tournament. He loses in the semifinals, gets himself thrown into the consolation finals, where he meets guys who've probably been winning 2 or 3 matches in a row. They kind of get on fire. He, like we said, obviously a little disappointed in himself because he wanted to make it to the finals like that. Really kind of hurt him. Ends up in 6th place, but he's looking to change things around this year.
See him really working the hips, Brad. Ott seems though he's got extremely strong hips. You'll see Black keeps his hips tight. If he does get a little out of position, you'll see him. He's a little unorthodox, is what I call it. I don't know. It's for a lot of wrestlers it'd be scary, but for Jason Black,
he rolls, just like home.
He does a lot of rolls, things like that. He feels if he's tight to you, there's no way you can get, that's good positioning for him. And you see him, he's just stuck to Ott like glue.
You bet, exactly. It's about 45 seconds left in the third period now, 4-1 lead by Black, and obviously quite a bit of riding time here as every time we look down there, Ott is on top. You get a quick little wave there from some of the BV wrestlers. I Who's the long-haired guy with the red hat right there?
I believe that would be Clint Cooter.
Next to the attractive man with the sinus problem right there. There you see Black in deep on the hips, bringing Ott right back down to the mat now. 20 seconds left, and this one looks to be in Black's control.
I don't see a lot of movement from the Simpson wrestler Ott.
I believe that stalling warning there was against Jason Black. Kind of a surprise right there. I'm not sure. Black, he said green, yeah, and it was. Gets 1 point for Mr. Ott right there. Black, I guess the referee felt wasn't doing a lot of work to improve his position. Now Ott finds himself with his hips up. He could be in a reversal position. That'll tie up this match. Black's got to hold on tight. There he gives up the 1 point escape. 8 seconds left now. Ott needs a takedown, and he goes, shoots in. He's got the leg. Ooh, Black quick back up to his feet with the whizzer in now. Oh, and the time runs out. So Jason Black finds himself in a somewhat hairy situation there at the end of this match. Takes the 4-3 decision anyway, though, and Ott, a really nice job of taking on a person of Black caliber and not really showing much fear in there coming into the third period. I was a little surprised myself with the stalling call right there. I don't know, it looked like Black was kind of in control the whole time. Looked like he was still working for it, but the referee saw things differently and called the stalling, really put Ott in the opportunity to take it. Oh, and there we have another surprise. Looks like at 177 pounds, Chad Tim is going to forfeit to BV's Matt Kruger, the sophomore from Georgia, Iowa. And that's going to thrust Clinton Dunlop, who we were talking about earlier, into the lineup. Like we said, we saw Clinton sitting there on the sidelines, not warming up at all. He wasn't expecting to wrestle, getting the word from Simpson that he was going to get the forfeit. Now he's going to have to take to the mat and take on Chad Tim. So backs are going to have to get over there and get a quick little pep talk there to probably a pretty surprised Clinton Dunlop right there.
That's a big surprise to me, Brad. Simpson down by 13 points.
Plus the 12 more that we're going to put on for the 2 forfeits.
Real tough for them to come back. I don't exactly understand why. I suppose some of it has to do with seating at the conference meet.
That could be, exactly. Looks like they're having a little discussion on the side of the mat there. Captain Jay Huff out there asking the referee what exactly is going on here. It's really kind of a tough situation to be thrown. Like we said, Dunlop only a freshman right now. This is his first year of college varsity wrestling at the 190-pound division, sitting on the sidelines throughout the entire match right there, cheering for his teammates. Now thrust out on the mat with basically no time to warm up. Hopefully it'll work out for him, but we'll see how things do.
Clint Dunlop, no slouch, super wrestler.
Placed second in the state tournament last year for, I believe it was Woodbine, a 1A school here in Iowa. Now comes to BV, and like we said, filling in very nicely at the 190 spot for the Beavers. There you see Tim deep in on a single leg, countering Dunlop shot. Dunlop going to look, grabs on the head. Can't quite get it.
He's got to come up in face right here, but he's going to come up in face. Right now he's trying to do is shake Tim down, get the takedown. Nice job by Clint Dunlop.
2 points takedown for Tim Dunlop.
Super job. Like we said, Clint Dunlop comes in as a freshman, filling in, doing the job, asked to fill in for a 90-pounder, actually a 177-pounder,
right,
but doing the job.
So that could maybe justify this move by Coach Dare. Like we said, Dunlop probably a natural 77-pounder. Here taking on Simpson's 77-pounder. We'll see what he's going to do. And he's looking like he's having a little fun right now. Gets a nice little bar arm in there, getting the tilt. He's going to get some back points. So Clint Dunlop kind of shaking off the cobwebs he had sitting on the sidelines, really tearing into senior Chad Tim right now, building up a pretty decent 5-point lead.
Right now, what you want to see, Clint Dunlop. Clint Dunlop, I've wrestled him in practice a lot. He's got a super tight waist, keeps a lot of pressure on you. He's only a freshman, but what a work ethic. He lifts a lot. He's a real strong freshman.
Exactly.
Just a little small.
That was one thing I saw when I watched him at the Cornell Invitational this weekend. Technique-wise, going up against these guys, right in there with them, even in every match. A couple times, though, he got himself in some situations where it was basically just weight on weight, and when he's only weighing about, I believe it's like 185, something like that, and these guys are cutting down to 190, probably a day after weigh-ins are a little bit higher than that. That's where the disadvantage comes into play, and that's something that Dunlop's had to deal with, and he's done a fine job of doing it so far. Now the shoe's kind of on the other foot. Now, Mr. Tim here for Simpson, he's coming in as a 77-pounder, taking on a slightly bigger Clinton Dunlop, and see how things are turning around as Dunlop builds up the 5-0 lead.
Back to talking about 190 weight class. For example, he wrestled Phil Grimm from Simpson at the Cornell Invite, and he was As a matter of fact, Grimm weighed up to 220 or 215, cut down in 4 days to 194.
He was a big boy, and that may be part of the reason why we don't see Mr. Grimm out here this afternoon for Simpson. Probably had a little trouble getting on the scale this morning. Like you said, that's a pretty tough situation. They both these teams wrestled over the weekend, weighed in on, I believe it was Thursday was their last weigh-in, had to come back and after a 2-day wrestling tournament make weight again this morning. So that's probably why we don't see Grimm out here. We see Tim instead. Excuse my rhyme right there. We see Chad Tim out there for Simpson taking on Dunlop, and Dunlop really in control of this match so far in the first period.
We're tossing after that.
Both wrestlers go out of bounds with about 30 seconds left. They'll step back and start over with Dunlop still on top.
Dunlop there, it looked like he felt a little comfortable. Tim had his hips cleared, was working Dunlop's leg a little bit. Right now you see Dunlop putting a lot of pressure on him, getting an arm bar, working his hips. I think we'll see Clint look for the tilt that got him the back points early in the first period. Clint putting a lot of pressure on Tim.
Looks like another.
I really can't believe some of the stalling calls here, Brad. I hate to bash the refs, but it seems the referee is Sid Steck from Storm Lake, and on occasion,
no home field advantage, if that's what you're trying to say. I understand that. Really kind of making sure that the BV wrestlers keep working and keep improving on position. Maybe he thought that Dunlop was kind of riding parallel a little bit too long. That's the way they saw it. Obviously you and me a little bit biased in that category, not going to agree with him, but no harm, no foul right now. Dunlop still got the 5-0 lead, and he's going to start out in the bottom position here in the second period.
What you want to see Clint do right here is you want to see him clear his hips, get out, and explode on out of there. You see Tim throwing the legs.
A little bit high again. Dunlop's in the same situation he was in the first period. That's how he got the first takedown. All he's got to do is pop his head out of there, and it's going to be a 2-point reversal. And he's looking for back points, too. Couldn't quite hold on for the pin. Tim turned over a little bit, but he did get the 2-point reversal. 7-0 is our score.
You see Clint Dunlop here really doing a fine job. A lot of movement, taking advantage of when his opponent's out of position. Another important part. Not a lot of great movement off the whistle, but as soon as his opponent was out of position, he took advantage of it. And that's one of those things that that's just natural.
That's instinct.
Sense. You see Clint getting a little high here with the leg. And he's kind of put in the opposite position he was before.
Right, now he's going to look to hold.
He's really hanging on there.
Finally it slips off. That's when you're in a position like that, really not much you can do but just kind of pray you don't get turned over your back, and Dunlop gives up the 2-point reversal again, slip up on there. Start back from the center, still got a 5-point lead here late in the second period.
Better safe than sorry, Brad.
Exactly.
That's exactly what I'm sure Clint was thinking. He's hoping to get off the edge of the mat and keep at the most, maybe get an escape out of the deal. Tim kept him in bounds and got the reversal. I believe Clint had enough of a riding time advantage to receive the 1 point, and that is ticking away now as Tim continues to ride him.
Dunlop probably hoping that Tim's going to throw those legs in again one more time, because obviously something he hasn't been too successful with. But there Dunlop gets up to his feet. He's got a whizzer in there now, looking to probably get his hips cleared away from there.
See now, as Tim is supposed to in the rule book, he can't sit there. He's got to work up. And
there he gets the stalling call. Good call by Chad Coon. Now Dunlop goes back to work, trying to get his legs free. Going to work on turning Tim over there with a far ankle grab right there. And another quick stalemate called, and they're going to start back over with Dunlop back down on the bottom.
11.4 seconds left. What we want to see Clint Dunlop do is explode out of there. Movement on the whistle just like he did. Clears his hips. And he's got to pop his head out to get the 2. I think even if he went, there it is.
He got it. Beautiful job of turning right inside on Tim there late in the second period. And then, Tim looking for the last second roll right there. Found himself in a little hairy position, but the clock ticks down. And we have to say the freshman here for BV really taking it to the senior from Simpson right now, especially with his lack of preparation time in the match. So, nothing but good things to say about Clint Dunlop so far, as he's got a 9-2 lead going into this, the third and final period. The final period of the match, or of the meet as a whole, like we said, heavyweight will be forfeited to the Beavers. So technically they have a 31-6 lead right now, and the last thing to take care of is this matter here between Dunlop and Tim.
Dunlop just, we say it over and over again, doing a super job as freshman coming in, filling for a couple injuries at 90. One or so before wrestle-offs, Matt Sauer wrestling varsity, injuring a knee, having it scoped. Last couple weeks ago, had it injured again at the small college duels, I believe, is where he injured again.
Right.
And Clint Dunlop, nice ankle pick, really pushing Tim here. I have to think, have to guess what's going through Coach Dara's head right now, but maybe this wasn't such a good idea.
You never know. It was either he's going up against a freshman Dunlop or taking on one of BV's stronger wrestlers at 177. That'd be Matt Kruger. You know, Kruger came in this meet 16-6 with 7 falls on the year. He placed second over the weekend at the Cornell Invitational. Was a conference runner-up last year in the national qualifier for the Beavers. He's another one of those guys that went one step last year, looking to improve on that as the year goes on. And there you get a good look at Bob Dara here, just basically kind of waiting for this match to get over and get himself back down to Indianola, because this match pretty much in the books.
Clint Dunlop doing a good job of riding. Another takedown, keeping his hips tight, working, getting Tim out of position and taking advantage of it. 11-4 advantage, plus probably another point for running time. That's going to put it into a major decision, Brad.
It's going to open up this team score just a little bit more. We were talking earlier on the meet about what ifs. It would have been kind of interesting to see what we would have been seeing if Simpson hadn't had to forfeit those 2 weights later on, you know, whether it be at 77 or at heavyweight or 90 or whatever. Would have been, you know, because that was, like we said, Dunlop was going to have a pretty tough challenge in there, taking on Phil Grimm. They wrestled over the weekend, and Grimm got the best of him. It would have been kind of interesting. I know Baxter was looking forward to see how his freshman reacted to that, losing to a guy earlier on, coming back, having to face him again. But I guess that's the way things go here in wrestling. And like you said, Dara made the last-second choice to move Tim up a weight, and now Dunlop really kind of taking him to school, the freshman is, and with 7.6 seconds left in the third period and an 11-5 score, this one pretty much in the bag for Clint Dunlop, and that's just about going to wrap up this dual meet. Last second shot there by Tim, gets in on the leg.
See Clint Dunlop with the Wizard, just about gets taken down. That's the end of the period, Brad.
Also, the end of the dual meet, we're going to probably get a look at the handshake right here, and I'm sure Jay Huff will come out to accept his forfeit for the Beavers. That forfeit, like we said, moving Huff's current win streak up to 15 matches, but another 6 points, 34-6 is going to be our final score. BV does take the win over Simpson College. We're going to take a quick commercial break back at the studio. Be back in 2 minutes with a little post-game wrap-up and hopefully an interview with Beaver coach Al Baxter.
Janine woke up in a cold sweat with one thing echoing through her brain. Who was this guy in her bathroom?
Meanwhile, Barry was thinking, whose bathroom am I in?
Janine remembered going to the party the night before and getting smashed out of her mind.
Barry remembered getting drunk and acting really stupid.
Eventually.
The whole evening came back.
Oh, I must be really stupid.
I must be really dumb.
What did I do? How did I get myself into this?
Well, what did I do? How did I get myself into this?
What about AIDS? Then they both realized, much to their relief, that unlike the rest of us,
they were just cartoons.
Get high,
get stupid,
get AIDS.
In a recent worldwide educational test, the United States didn't rank first
Korea,
or second
Taiwan,
or even third.
Switzerland.
It seems while the rest of the world raised their educational standards,
Scotland, Slovenia,
we didn't.
Spain.
So we came in 14th.
The United States.
And 14th is no place for our kids to be. Call 1-800-96-PROMISE, and we'll give you lots of ways to help our kids move forward again.
Just like moons and like suns, with the certainty of tides, just like hope springing high, still I rise. Bringing the gifts that my ancestors gave, I am the hope and the dream of the slave. And so I rise, rise.
So we're back here at Siemens Fieldhouse. The wrestling meet, as you can see, the crowd thinning out. The wrestling meet is over. BV did pull off the win. Like we said, we're hoping to get a little interview with Al Baxter, but if you can see him behind us, the PR man that he is, he's got 50 million people to talk to, so we're going to wait a few seconds. So, Chad, let's look at it now. BV, like you said, does take the win. Obviously, the 2 forfeits helped him, but really some very positive performances on the BV side of the mat today.
Exactly, Brad. You see a lot of times BV wrestlers were dominating the matches, going after him, pushing the Simpson wrestlers. Conditioning was a little bit better, I think. Really doing a fine job on their feet, getting a lot of takedowns, not giving the Simpson wrestlers a large opportunity to get those takedowns and to score points. If you don't get the opportunity to score points and you're getting scored on, it's awful tough to win a match.
One of the big matches of the day had to be at 134, where Jeff Meyer pulls off the revenge victory, if you would, against John Hatfield of Simpson College. Of course, he lost to Hatfield earlier on the weekend, came back today, really put on a clinic against him, I believe. Just really took it to him. We talked about him starting out slow. None of that today. Really took it to him and got the score up there and ended up with the victory. Another big match in there. Had to be 142. Tony Doherty did just a fine job of taking on Johnston, from the freshman from Simpson. Really turned him on. Baxter still got 50 million people to talk to, so we're going to keep going here. But looking on now, another big conference win for the Beavers. They're moving on now as Baxter basically walks off the court for us. That's no big deal. We got a lot of stuff to talk about here. Looking ahead to the future now. The next time you're going to see us here on Innovation Video, it's going to be the big one. It's going to be BV and Wartburg. And I know you got to be just about as excited as Coach Baxter is about that one.
That's a real exciting opportunity for us, the wrestling BV wrestlers, and Coach Baxter and Wartburg. Obviously, Buena Vista, Wartburg, a couple of the top-rated Division III teams in the nation, both in the same conference, the Iowa Conference. What can you say? It's going to be a barn burner right here. We hope to pack the gym, get a lot of people out, support us. Last year when they came in, they had defeated us, I believe, 3 times prior to the meet. They came into our house. We
turned the tables on them, if you would. So that's what we're looking for. That's going to be in about 1 month, ladies and gentlemen. If you want to see some more Iowa Conference wrestling here on Innovation Video, come back for that meet. It's going to be BV and Wartburg. Tonight, the Beavers pull off the victory against Simpson. We're not going to get a chance to talk to Coach Baxter, so we're going to take off now. That'll do it for Chad Kudum. I'm Brad Haugen. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in a month.